In this video tutorial, we're going to talk about Remote Counter. With Remote Counter, you can incorporate into your digital signage presentation a now serving type of a counter so your customers do not have to line up. In fact, with Remote Counter, you also have the ability to have your customers check their status online through a mobile device, so they can leave your business and still get updates on when they should come back. This is great for public service and government type agencies where the line can get really long. Remote Counter is powered by Node.js server and we provide all the source code. I also recommend checking out the video tutorial on remote values and events and triggers, as the topics are related and you'll be able to pick up some pointers. So with that, let's begin. So as you can see over here, I have my campaign selected, next in line. Very simple campaign, just one full screen division and a single scene assigned to it, so nothing special. So over here I have my queue scene selected. Go ahead and make a little bit more room here. And these are just regular static labels, nothing special about these. I'll go over here to my components, set my QR component, drag and drop it, position it right over here. And here you'll paste in the address of your server. Now in my case, I'm just going to go ahead and put in my address, but again, we're going to talk about the server in just a second. And you'll put in the address of your server and you're going to be pointing to the now serving.html. Of course, this over here will be the address of your server. We're going to go ahead and put in just a label, a regular label, not a label queue, but just a regular label. Drag and drop that. And make sure we center everything and lock it in place so it maintains its position. So we're going to go over here to position and size and lock it in place. Same thing for the QR. Lock it in place. And really the most important thing over here under this label where it says now serving 0, to go to the events and go ahead and add a new event, and we'll just go ahead and give it the event of set val. And of course this could be any string you want. Again, I do recommend you watch the video tutorials for events, but for now you can just set it to be set val. And so now what's going to happen is that every time the signage player receives a set val event, it will take that value, and because the command is set as set param, it will take that value and assign it to this label. So now remotely from a server, a Node.js server in our case, we can tell the system to go ahead and increment or decrement this value. Also, when a customer comes to your business and scans this QR, they would get redirected to this website that we put over here. And again, this will be your own address as I mentioned. And so they will be able to monitor the number that's currently being served. And so they'll know exactly what is their position in line, even if they're not sitting in front of the screen. So now let's go ahead and jump into the server side and see how to configure it. Now you will need to run a Node.js server, which is just a web server. We actually have all the source code right here on GitHub, Born2Net, remote values, so you can grab everything from there. And if you scroll right here, you'll see that everything is explained. Essentially what this server will do is it'll control the different values of the counter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, as it goes up, the server will be able to maintain that. It'll also be able to post the different counter values to the signage player. And most importantly, it'll also serve these two different HTML files. One is terminal.html. This will be controlled by your employees to be able to move the counter up and down depending upon how many numbers are being served, as well as the now serving HTML, which is the file that your customers will be able to view from their mobile device. So when they scan the QR code, they would be redirected to this now serving.html. Again, that is going to be served by the Node.js web server. I went ahead and opened server.js. This is again the file that you can download from GitHub, and we'll go over it really quick. This over here will be the username and the password of your account. This will be the station ID, the actual station that's going to be running the presentation, and the refresh timer, which is 5,000 milliseconds or 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, the Node.js server will update on the timer. So let's go ahead and switch really quick back to our stations, and we'll go back over here. We'll see that we have a station right here that's on, and this will be the station that's running our presentation with the QR code that shows the now serving. And if you scroll all the way to the back, you'll get the station ID. So you can see that my station ID is 217, and therefore I have this 217 over here for my station ID. Again, username and password I've covered. So the rest of the file is pretty technical, and the nice thing is that you really don't have to worry about it because we've written the code for you. So you just need to worry about this configuration section and just install the Node.js server and get everything up and running. Couple of things I just wanted to cover really quickly is that over here you'll notice that we have this remote static right here. So essentially what we're doing is we're serving HTML files as well as listening to remote commands using the server. The two files that we're serving are going to be the now serving HTML file and the terminal HTML file. So just so you are aware that we're serving two static HTML files as well as actually listening to commands on the server. In the now serving that HTML, you will need to modify the server address. So again, digitalsignage.com here as well as here. You're going to want to change this to again point to your node server, as well as the terminal.html. You're going to want to change again the addresses over here to point to your server as well. So these are the only changes you need to make in these two HTML files. So now for the more interesting part, you can see that I'm looking at the signage player right now and it says now serving 118. So the next person obviously will be the 119. We have the QR. So the signage player is just waiting for commands to switch this counter. Next, I went ahead and loaded this file right here. You can notice this address right here. Again, this will be your address wherever you're running this Node.js server. And you can see that I'm loading the terminal.html file that I've shown you that loads directly from the Node.js server. And as I click next, I'm incrementing the number both on the signage player that you can see in the background, as well as right here in the HTML file. So this again would be controlled by your employees, so they can control the next person that's being served and then go back and forth. Now when a customer comes into your store and scans this QR, they would automatically get redirected to this web page, now serving.html. Again, this will be taken from the QR code that you've pasted in the address earlier, and you can see that it says now serving and it updates every 5 seconds because that's what we've configured the server to do. And it says now serving 126. So again, the customer can be checking this out on their mobile device. They could be somewhere else, not in your facility. So at this screen, I'm presenting what you can see in the background, which is the signage player, what the customer would be seeing on his mobile device, as well as what your employees would be controlling in your business. And as I click on next, you can see that the value is changing, and every 5 seconds, it's also updating on the mobile device as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.